first off, so I should discuss this one to you, the different sides or parts of our triangle. So this one is the hypotenuse, is the longest part of our triangle. We have the opposite side, and this one is the adjacent or the adjacent side. So para ma-familiar kita no. So we have the first na function, we have the sine function. When you talk about the sine of an angle, that means you are working with the opposite side and the hypotenuse of a right triangle. Meaning, what are you trying to solve in the sine function? It is our opposite side and the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So, let's see now. You have the sine, opposite, and the hypotenuse. So, sine, opposite, and the hypotenuse. Meaning, you are trying to solve for the opposite and the hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. So the sine function specifies these two sides of the triangle and they must be arranged as shown. So for example, to evaluate the sine 40 degrees in our calculator, so type in 40 on your calculator. So make sure the calculator is in degree mode. Now, we have the different kinds of scientific calculator and we have the different kinds of settings. But for this one, kindly take a look at your scientific calculator and please identify what model is it, and then search it in the YouTube how to convert from the normal setting to the degree mode for your scientific calculator to solve for this one. Okay, because I cannot teach you regarding this one because we have the different kinds of scientific calculator. So then press the sine key. So, it should show a result of 0.642787. Note, if this did not work on your calculator, try pressing the sine key first, then type in the 40. So, pwede siya 40, then sine button, automatic magawa na siya, or hindi, you click the equal sign. And then, if not, you can try also sine first nga button and then 40 degrees and then equal sign. So try each of these sa atong mga calculator. You have the sine 55 degree, sine 10 degree, and sine 87. So i-try natin. First off, pangitaan niyo sa YouTube paano ma-convert ang aton scientific calculator into degree mode. And then press sine and 55 angle. So, it should arrive in the answer, ang sine 55 degrees, 0.819, sine 10 degrees, 0.174, and sine 87, 0.999. So, this is just the basic trigonometry ng mga function, no? Next, we have the cosine na function. So, the next trig function you need to know is the cosine. So, you have the sine, cosine. So, what is all about the cosine naman? Anong ang involved nga parts in our triangle to solve for our cosine? You have cosine is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. Meaning, solving naman siya for adjacent, the value of your adjacent over the value of your hypotenuse. So, that is our cosine. Ang importante, malanggit, we should be familiar with our different kinds of or different parts of our triangles because later on, kung mag-substitution na ta, for example, cosine, ang value sa hypotenuse binaton is 2 and our adjacent is 3. So, pwede na cosine is equals to adjacent is 3 over hypotenuse na 2. So, that is how we solve our cosine. So, please be familiar again. Bear in mind, ang hypotenuse is the longest line. And then, ang opposite diri, ang muning opposite nga side. And this is our adjacent line for our triangle or the adjacent side. Next, use your calculator to determine cosine 50. So, the same also for sine. You just have to press the cosine instead of the sine because ang sine is for the first one, for the sine function also. So, amo na siyang answer, yeah. So, try to solve for this one. Take note that this will come out on your exam. So, please, easy to it ninyo. You know how to convert your scientific calculator to degree mode because kung hindi ma-convert sa degree mode, eventually sala gid ang aton nga answer. Okay? So, cosine 25 is equals to 0.906, cosine 0 degree 1, cosine 90 degree 0, and cosine 45 degree 0.707. Next, the tangent ng function. So, you have the sine, cosine, and the tangent function. So, the last trig function you need to know is the tangent function. Tangent is equals to opposite over adjacent. So, tangent is trying to solve about the opposite over adjacent naman saya. Opposite over adjacent. So, tandaan, gid na. So, use your calculator to determine tangent 40 degree. Type in 40, then press the tan. Tangent. Same man lang, no? So, substitute lang naton. Let's see what are the answers. So, try in your calculator there and check if we arrive at the same answer. Because if not, meaning there is something wrong on how you solve that one. So, review. We have the SOHCAHTOA ang abbreviation. Sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent, opposite over adjacent. So, familiarize this one and make sure i-memorize ninyo because it will be very difficult for you to solve kung hindi mo ni ma-memorize ang SOHCAHTOA. So, liwat, review na to, no? Opposite over adjacent over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, and our opposite over adjacent. So, solve for x. If x is equals to sine 30 degree. So, ano yung pinduton? 30, then sine or sine 30 degrees. Same also for cosine and tangent. Okay.